Hey mamas, you're listening to the Balanced Working Mama podcast, the only podcast teaching you how to balance your work, motherhood, and wellness. I am Dr. Amber Thornton, clinical psychologist and mama wellness consultant. Each week we dive into tips and strategies and much more so that you too can become a balanced working mama. Let's dive in. So I want to ask you, do you feel like you initially had the support you needed to begin your process? Because I know you already spoke to your dad was really supportive when you moved in with him. It sounds like your mom was kind of like that look that she gave you was really the thing that, helped I got to do something. It sounds like therapy was really helpful. And I know that you said that once you really started to be more open with friends and family, they were supportive. So do you feel like you got enough support when you were first starting the process?
I think initially not at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And part of it is that I didn't know how to ask for support.
Okay.
My biggest support, like you said, was my therapist, and her focusing on me navigating my feelings and my anxiety and learning how to speak up for myself really helped me learn how to advocate for myself and express my needs to everyone, which is something I never knew how to do. And like as a married mom, the expectation was I didn't need any help because I had a husband.
Oh God, yes.
So, and I mean, like my mother literally said this to me when I was asking her, why didn't you help me with a newborn? Like, you're my mom and you live down the street and you did not help me. And she literally said, because you have a husband. And I thought he was an active parent. But as a single mom and as someone who's learned how to ask for help, I did eventually get the support I needed.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, wow. Okay. Speaks to a lot of things. One, I think moms, we don't realize how much help we really, really need. And we also don't know how to ask for it. I think we assume that we should just do it. We should just have it. It should just be instinctual within us. You can never have too much help. You can never have too much support. And many of you listening are completely undermining or completely dismissing how much support you really, really need. There's so much more that you need. But I think also this other misconception of like, well, you have a good husband. He's present. He's there every day. He comes home every day. He works. So you don't need help. That is something that I personally have also experienced from family. Family. And and I remember you and I and the other moms in the community, we talked about this in one of our events a while back in the community, talking about like, these misconceptions that mothers have of their daughters, especially when their daughters get married, or just family members in general. There's this idea that like, oh, he's present, he's active, he comes home every day, he changes the diaper every now and then. So she no longer needs help and support because she has him.
What we think is a good husband is
not a good
the
husband.
Bare minimum.
It's literally
to be a decent person, like not even a good partner. It's terrible. And and that's fine, and that's why moms become the default parent, because dads don't have to do all that. He's a good man if he brings his paycheck home. And it's crazy to me because of the times we are in. This is not the 40s.
No.
These men, these husbands, these fathers, they've got to do more than bring home a check. Because the mamas are doing it too.
Girl, and the black women, our checks might be bigger.
Right. Exactly.
Checks might be a little bit bigger.
Right. So like, how can I be the breadwinner and be the default parent and be the housekeeper and everything? And
even if your check isn't bigger, because I hear somebody listening to this, and their thoughts are, well, he does make more of the money. He does. That don't matter
at all.
But the baseline for which a good husband and father, it needs to be raised. It can't be just bringing home the money anymore. It can't be just coming home. It can't be that you're not being abused. And again, we've just kind of articulated that you might be being abused and you don't realize it. Those expectations for husbands and fathers truly need to be raised. Like
the bar is in hell right now.
And it needs to come out.
It does.
Wow.
And I think women are learning that we don't have to deal with that.
Yep.
A lot of my friends have decided not to get married and not to have children because they don't want to deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're educated, they're making money, they have friends and family to love them and care for them and support them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. It makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tamika, you've done such a great job of just like talking us through the story, all the things that have happened, all the courage and the support you needed to get through it, all the ways that you yourself really continue to push yourself to do what you needed. Like, I'm amazed by you and I'm honored to hear your story. And now I want you to tell us a little bit more of like what life is like now on the other side. Like, what is it like on the other side of divorce and actually being a true single mom and not a married single mom anymore?
It is so peaceful now. Like,
Mhm.
I think I never had any really big struggles, any like big T traumas
Yeah.
until I got married.
Wow.
And like I learned that I'm way stronger than I knew. I learned how to find my voice. I learned how to identify my feelings. I learned how to talk about them to other people who love me and my child and teach her the same things.
Yeah.
And I have like this amazing relationship with my family of origin that I didn't really have before. And
Mm.
having their support and their love, and like my aunts and uncles telling me the issues in their marriages and things that happen to them that are similar to things that happen to me. And I'm just like, oh, we're kind of in this together.
Mhm.
And now without all those burdens, and but also having a daughter now, someone to look up to me, I'm so much more motivated in my career.
Yes.
I just want to be a good example for her. And
Mm.
Black women in tech.
Yes. Come on, Black woman in tech. Oh my gosh.
So
Oh, I
I
love.
would,
Oh, go ahead.
I would definitely compare single motherhood to being a married single mom. Like, it's so much better. It's
Mm.
so much more peaceful. I do what I want to do. I know that what I'm doing is the right thing, or if it's not, I can figure out how to do better. I don't have to consult anybody.
Yeah.
I don't have to be concerned and worried and asking someone for help who is not going to help me.
Yeah.
Holding on to that, maybe he will. Holding on to that hope that he would change. Because I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what gets a lot of us stuck. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's probably the only reason why children are still born. Women have so much hope.
There's so much hope. We can see the hope, we can see the
Mhm.
potential, and I
Yes.
think that gets us stuck. And that's probably something that came up for therapy in therapy for you. Like
Mhm.
we can't act on perceived potential.
Mhm.
We can't make decisions based on hope sometimes, especially when
Right.
it comes to expectations from partners and marriage.
Mhm. Right. What are they doing now?
Mm-hmm.
And are they showing that they're willing to change or work with you or help?
Yep.
Because it's not going to come out of the clear blue sky. They got
Mm.
to show that they want it, that they want you, that they want a good relationship, that they want to be a good parent.
Mm-hmm.
You can't force that.
No.
They just have to.
Right. Right. Wow. Oh my gosh. I love that you led with it's so much more peaceful.
Mhm.
And I think that's the thing that many moms who are in the current position of like just being stuck and trapped and being abused and not realizing it, they just can't even grasp the idea that there could be peace on the other side because they do still have so much hope,
Mhm.
that maybe tomorrow it'll click for him.
Mhm.
Maybe next month after it goes through, when the project
Mhm.
is done, then he can focus and really see it. Like maybe one day his friends will kind of like let him know,
Yes.
what's
Mhm.
going on. And that
Mhm.
is likely never going to
Never.
happen.
Or even again, women, we put so much on ourselves.
Yeah.
Maybe I can find a way for him to finally get it. Maybe I can send him this
Yeah.
TikTok. Maybe I can send him this article. Maybe I can write an Excel sheet. Like, I literally made an Excel sheet one time
Mhm.
on how much I was doing as far as household work and parenting,
Yeah.
and how much he was doing, just so he could see in black and white that you are not doing your share. And I think you feel like you're doing something. I'm not sure why you think that, but let me show you in black and white
Yeah.
why I'm struggling.
Hmm.
That did not help.
It did not work. He
That-
probably was like, get out of here with that.
yeah, he was like, this isn't true. You don't even do that. You
Mm,
don't clean that. You don't do that.
my gosh. And so the
Yeah,
gaslighting and the, dismissing just continued.
yeah, it did. And
But
I accepted it
mm-hmm,
because he had continued to do it.
mm-hmm,
And I was starting to think that my reality was not real.
mm,
There's no possible way that this man is doing these things to me or not doing things that I want him to do because it doesn't even make sense.
right.
So I must be seeing things wrong.
Oh my gosh. Mm, mm, mm. So tell me, what does support look like for you now? Like,
Mhm.
what does it look like? What does it feel like? What is support for you now?
It is so simple right now. Just pick up my daughter.
Mm,
Like if and anybody who can just take something off my plate is
mm-hmm,
my best friend right now.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm so lucky, that I have a dad who's an active part of our lives. He picks her up from school every day, and when I come get her, he's cooked dinner for all of us. My family members give me such good advice.
Yeah.
Even at work, I have a lot of support. I have people who kind of have an idea of my story because,
Mhm.
funnily enough, I work in a courthouse. And during the divorce and all that, I would have to go downstairs, like, hey, I got to go downstairs because, I have this thing going on. So let me tell you a little bit about it.
Right.
And they have been so supportive at work and like, hey, this job is open. You want to apply for this because you need to make more money because you're a single mom. You
Oh,
need to do better.
wow.
Right. Yeah. Like
Wow.
it's been amazing. And I think I get more support from being open and
Yes.
telling people. Not too much, because especially at work, you can't tell too much of your business, but
Boundaries. Yes.
but it's great. And I mean, I have friends who
Mhm.
listen to me when I tell the same story 50 times about my marriage. And everyone has really helped me work through my grief.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad that you have this type of support. Like,
Mhm.
so glad. And something else, what you just said made me think about is like, I think sometimes when our needs are being dismissed, we're being neglected, especially within a romantic relationship, we can assume that like, well, other people don't want to help me.
Mhm.
They don't want to support me, that other people don't have my best interest at heart. And it's really just because we are likely depressed. We're
Yeah.
likely
Mhm.
traumatized. And it's hard to have this positive outlook on like other people or the world when you are being abused and neglected.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so I think sometimes it takes getting out of that situation to really see like, oh, people do want to help me.
Yeah.
People do want to support me. People
Mhm.
do care about me. And even if they don't always know how to go about it, they actually do care about my well-being. And I just, sometimes I want to be careful about moms getting caught and feeling like, especially when you mention work, I think sometimes many of us have this idea of like, well, work is just work. Those people don't care for me and I don't care
Yeah.
about them. But that's not always true. That's
No.
not always true.
Mm-mm. And I have found that I have some really good coworkers. I have really good supervisor
Mhm,
who, if I tell them, hey, I have to do this thing for my child, I have to be out there, like, yeah, we get it. You're a
mhm.
mom, you're a single mom. Your child comes first. This
Yeah.
is just work.
Mhm,
We care about you and we're glad you're here, but this is not more important than your child.
mhm.
And I never expected to have that kind of support, even especially thinking the person who's supposed to love you the most is doing horrible things to you.
Yeah,
You don't expect that other people are going to be good to you.
right. Exactly. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you have that support. And so what is, there's so many lessons. Oh my gosh, I don't even know how I can ask you to pick one, but like, what was the biggest lesson that you learned throughout this process?
Hmm. I think the biggest lesson was that I needed to learn how to communicate
Mhm.
and share my needs and my feelings, but also in the same token that you have to have someone who's willing to listen and work with you and
Yeah,
compromise.
yeah,
So it's not just, I think we talk about that a lot when we talk about relationships. You have to communicate. You have to communicate. A man can't read your mind, but once you communicate with him, he needs to be receptive.
yes,
And I think we're missing that a lot.
yes. Yep. Oh my gosh. So yeah, agreed. Agreed. And so, Tamika, what's next for you? Like,
Mm.
what's next when you think about your life or your family? Like, what's coming up for you next?
Hopefully, I'm gonna buy a house.
Oh, yes.
I'm so excited because I got a really big raise that starts in January.
Ooh.
And like, so I'm just able to like continue rebuilding my life
Mhm.
and also have these experiences that I couldn't have before. I'm ready to go to Disney. I'm ready to go fly around and take my daughter places that, I've wanted her to go, and places that as a family I wanted us to, do together.
Mhm.
I can do that now.
Yes. Wow. And it's because there's nothing holding you back.
Right.
Nothing holding you back. And like you went from someone who was being financially abused, like financial wellness in the toilet, to now
Mhm.
being ready to buy a home. Like
Yeah,
that's significant. You have blossomed.
I feel like I have. I'm so proud of myself.
Yes. And just like you said, just now you can have all these experiences that you weren't able to have before. Like not only just because of finances, but like just because there's peace and there's joy, there's happiness, there's space, like mental
Mhm.
and emotional space.
Right, right. Because I wasn't thinking about going on vacation when I was sad and depressed and angry and being neglected.
Mhm.
I just wanted to curl up in the bed and stay there.
Yeah. Right. So last question for you, Tamika. What do you want moms to take away most from your story today?
Mhm. I think the biggest thing is that abuse can be more subtle than physical violence. I don't think we talk about emotional and financial abuse, enough. And so many moms and wives and even, people that are just in other kinds of relationships, they'll often say, well, he doesn't hit me. And that is less than the minimum of what we need to have in a relationship.
Mhm.
And I just want moms to not be afraid to leave something that's not working well for them
Mhm.
instead of sinking more effort into it, especially if your partner is not willing to work.
Yeah.
And most importantly, I want moms to know that they can go through something like this, a bad season, and they can come out on the other side better.
Mhm. Yep. And you definitely have been a model and an example for that. So thank you so much. I so appreciate you and your life and your story. And I appreciate you for being a member of our community. I just appreciate all of it. So thank you so much.
Thanks. I love it. I love talking to you and the other moms. It's great.
Hey, Mama. Thank you for listening to the Balanced Working Mama podcast. If you love this podcast, please be sure to rate it and share it with another mama that you know. And don't forget to follow me and Balanced Working Mama on Instagram. I'll talk to you soon.